it's Morgan from For Love of Paper, and I'm here with my first project using the July kits from Kitaholic Kits. I am going to create a 12 by 12 layout for you today, and as this month's kits are based on the Cocoa Vanilla Boys Rule collection, I decided to print off a few photos of my two little men, and that's what I'm going to be working with pretty much for the month, because I love a boy kit and I really like this kit as well, or this collection, and it's really, really awesome. So most of my layouts are going to be of the boys this month. The first one, you probably saw the photo at the beginning, but you'll see it again in a minute, of my two boys. They got my sunglasses and they were pulling some funny faces and moves and stuff and being cool dudes. So I snapped a couple of pictures of them. That was a couple of months ago. It's been sitting in my phone ready to be printed, made into a layout, and now is the time. So I went through my kits and I pulled out all the pieces that I thought I might have wanted to use. I got some of the chipboard, some of the die cut pieces, a couple of the exclusive pieces. Not all of these make it onto the layout, but most of them do, I think. And there's the photos there. So it's two pictures for this particular layout. One of Roman and one of Samuel. So I wanted to kind of do a bit of a gradient of colour down the side of the page. So I had the green, the blue, black, the dark blue, and the grey. I don't think I ended up using the brown on there. So I pulled out the, 6x8 paper pad, and I'm going to mat my photos onto that with a little bit of this tissue paper popped in behind them. I kind of use the green as a little bit of an accent around the page as well, which is really nice. What am I doing? So I folded it. I think that's 2 layers of tissue paper folded in half, so I guess 4 layers. And then I get my stapler and staple it in a couple of places so it doesn't all come apart. And if you can hear the little noises down here, Roman's sitting on my lap making some funny noises. It's quite early in the morning as I'm recording this, because that's a nice quiet time generally in our house. And he's just having a cuddle and making his little baby noises. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, I kind of put the photos on a little bit of an angle. I didn't want them just straight, and then I chop around it. Now with this bit, I actually chopped the first layer, or the top layer, and then I chopped the bottom ones so that they were kind of a little bit like overlapping, so you could see the layers underneath. Does that kind of make sense? I don't know how to describe it, but that's what I did anyway. So I didn't cut them all 4 layers evenly. Then I decided to pop it up on some foam tape to give it a bit of dimension. Now in hindsight, I probably should have done the whole photo mat, or I should have done the photo on the foam tape and then the tissue paper behind it, but I didn't think about it to start off with. That's okay, it works out in the end. But it was a little bit floppy because the tissue paper isn't very sturdy, obviously. So trimmed down that, it's kind of like a blackboard paper, to use that as my backing piece. This layout actually took me quite a while. This one took me just under an hour. I think it's about 50 minutes to do this one all up. I don't know why, because there's not very much to it, but maybe I was just scrapping slowly for this one. And I have sped up a few. I've sped it up to ×3. Normally I only do ×2 on my layouts, so this one is a little bit longer than normal. And this is where I got the paper pad again, and I decided to just chop off a little strip from the bottom of each page, or not every page, but most of the pages in the little paper pad, and did this little lined cluster down the side. So that's how I kind of had my gradient of color working. So the lime green into the blues, then the black and the grey. And I wanted to do my embellishments sort of in that same tone as well. And I had them all laying straight and decided that no, I might sort of fan it out a little bit to give a bit more, I don't know, something to the page, so it wasn't just all straight lines. And next I laid all my embellishments out how I thought I might want them to look, and I did fluff around with this quite a bit. I couldn't get it to work quite right, or it took me a while to get it to a point that I liked it. And I really liked that word cool because it had the gradient from the lime green through to that light blue already in the word, so that helped a lot in putting that on the page. Now the clear sticker that I put on there, it says Brothers. I wanted to use that brown one, but it didn't quite fit. You saw me pop that on there before, so I used this clear sticker. You can't see it very well in the video, but in person you can actually see it, even though it is like black on black, I suppose, or dark grey. But it does stand out a lot more in person than it does on here. Once I had all my embellishments how I wanted them, I stuck that one down. That one says June. Oh, maybe I took this only last month. I thought these photos were from May, but obviously not. Once I had it how I wanted it, I didn't want all these papers, these strips to get messed up. So I just put a line of double-sided tape down it and then flipped it over and did the same on the back. And that was super easy. I didn't have to take it all apart and put tape on every piece. I just stuck them all together like that. So that was good thinking on my behalf, because I was initially going to take it all apart, and I'm glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have been able to get it back how I initially had it. So I thought that was a pretty good way to keep everything together. Wish I could do that with embellishments and bit papers more often, because if you've watched my videos before, you know I tend to lay everything out and then take it all apart to stick it back down. So this one wasn't too bad. And I haven't used a flare badge on a layout in forever. So here is one going onto a layout, which I was pretty excited about, because yeah, it has been a while since I've used one of those. And to go with the dimension that I'd given the photo, I popped a bit of foam tape on the back of this word as well, just so we had a bit of like variance of levels on the page, I suppose. So we've got the flare badge, which is quite high, then the photo and the word that were raised on the foam tape. Then I've got I think I got a piece of chipboard on there somewhere. And then also the flat embellishments, the paper, and these other little doodads everywhere. That there. What else did I put on there? Is this when I went? Oh, some stars, of course. Lots of stars in my layouts this month. Oh, and then this was my fourth level of dimension. I used a few layers of tape, so it wasn't quite flat and it wasn't quite as high as the foam tape, but also sort of popped off the page just a little bit. I think I've mentioned it in a video before. I really need like an in-between size foam tape, something that's not quite as thick as the normal stuff, but thicker than the double-sided tape. I really wish there was one, or if there is, I don't know about it. If anyone knows, please let me know, because I would love that. And what am I adding in there? Another little star. And the clear sticker I added on that grey sort of semicircle bit at the bottom, the little bannery piece, I added Too Cool for School, because I thought that was super, super appropriate, and I think that's what I end up calling this layout once it's done. And that is a saying I use quite a lot. That and Sam likes to call himself a cool dude when he's got sunglasses on. Mr. Roman's walking off now. It's go, go, go. That's his new little phrase. If you heard that, I'm not sure if the microphone picked it up or not. And now I'm cutting up some of these phrase stickers. I think I put the funny boys, which kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't, I don't know. It looks alright on the page, I guess. What else do I add to this one? Can't remember. I only did this layout a couple of days ago and already I can't remember what I did. Oh, that's a chipboard piece. I think I add some more stuff onto the right hand side of the page. Everyone is awake now. Thanks to Mr. Chatterbox over there. I'm sure you can hear that. Enamel dots. I used the enamel dots that came in the kit that were the blue, the green, and the yellowy green colour. And then I wanted a couple of grey ones to match with my grey strip down the bottom. So I just pulled some out of my stash. They were actually from April's kits, I think. March's kits, I think. And I'm not sure what happened. I think I had to stop filming for a little bit, so I took my camera down. Sorry. And then I got the stamp set out, which is kind of like stitched circles. And I don't have a stamp block that's big enough for the biggest circle, so I actually just used my double-sided tape. It worked well. And stamped that down in a couple of places on the page, and I just used this piece of scrap paper that I keep it under my craft mat, so I can use it for whatever I need to use it for. In this instance, a mask, so it didn't get all over my photo and everything. And I think I stamped one more down the side, possibly on the bottom. Do I add one to the... Yeah, I do. Add one to this bottom corner. And I'm just using Stays On ink because I find that always works the best and gives a nice, a crisp image. Sometimes I use Memento. It just depends what's on the top of my pile of inks usually. And I think, yep, that's all the stamping I do. I end up covering that bit up on the right hand side because I don't like how it looks. And that's when I added in my other little embellishments. What do I end up going with? Excuse me. I really wanted that Stay Cool to go on the page, but the brown just didn't work with this layout at all. I don't know why. I just couldn't make the wood or the brown work. So I left it off. What do I end up putting over there? I'm sure I put something over there. See, that was really cool too, but again, that brown it just wasn't the right colour brown. Maybe if it was like a darker, more grey brown, it probably would have been alright, but yeah, I don't know. Must just be my eye, because other people seem to make it work on their layouts that I've seen. I do fiddle around with this a bit, trying to get it to work. Oh, I think I added a journaling spot in there, and oh yeah, awesome. and the blue matches, and then this little bannery bit down the bottom. So I do like to work in threes for most of my layouts and pages. And then I wanted to use the other half of that on another layout, so I just chopped it in half, because you weren't going to see that part anyway. It was going under the photo, so I didn't want to waste it, and I could use it somewhere else. Add some tape to it and stick it all down. I think I said before, this layout did take me quite a while, and I'm sorry that this video has gone on for so long. I think in the end it ends up being like 17 minutes, this layout. This video, sorry. Normally I try to get them in well under 15 minutes, but this process was just quite a while. Oh, at that point I was working one-handed because someone wanted a cuddle, so you could only see one of my hands working away. Added a couple more enamel dots, and I think I call this one done here. No, I'm adding in another. I got out the smaller stitch stamp, and then it didn't stamp quite right. I think I ended up going over that with a pen. Yep. Then I decided we needed some splatters. So I've got this lime green one. This is a Heidi Swap one. It's quite old, but the color matches really, really well with the tissue paper. And then I think I add black, maybe. Yeah, this is just a Kaiser Craft black spray. A few splatters here and there. And what else do we add? Journaling and probably a border. Yep, a line border. And we call this layout done at that point. So there'll be links to Kitaholic Kits below, so you can go in, subscribe to their kits because they're amazing and packed full of goodies. So many goodies. It's amazing, and delivered to your door every month. Who wouldn't want that? So you can go and check out their store below. Also join our Facebook group, because we're always sharing things over there and chatting and whatnot. And yeah, that's it. I will catch you next time. Bye.